Hi, I'm Joe Silva, and today we have Tara Bound on our show. Tara is the Director of Sales with Ideal Payroll Service, and she has an absolutely amazing story to tell. I'm going to let her tell the story to do it justice, but trust me, it will pull at your heart and show you that the little things in life really do matter. And some of the things that maybe we think matter with all the chaos and everything around us, those things don't matter at all. Tara's story is really heartfelt, and she brings a genuine love to everything she does, and really makes an impact in the lives of others. So, with that, let's get right to the interview with Tara. All right, welcome. I'm Joe Silva, and I'm with Ideal Payroll Service. Tara Bound is with me today. She's also with Ideal Payroll Service, so this is a special episode. Tara was on a few weeks back, and we kind of did an introduction, but we want to get back in and really dive into what Ideal stands for, which is local business success, and how that relates to Tara's story. So, Tara, thanks for giving us your time and being with us again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. So you've got a very special story that, kind of led you to where you are today. So why don't you, dive in and take it away from there and share that with us.
Yeah, so it's hard to kind of find a starting point with my story, but I am very much a person who's always believed in doing the right thing and being involved in our community service. And that was something I brought to my family. And I have a husband, Ryan. Our anniversary is actually next week. And,
Early
we have a son,
congratulations,
Parker.
by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a son, Parker, who is 11, and a beautiful little daughter, Tinsley, who is 16 months. And in between them, we have a son, Ryker, who would be turning 5 in January. And August 8th, 2018, my husband went to wake Ryker up and found him unresponsive. And he was gone. So we lost Ryker to something called SUDC, sudden unexplained death in childhood. So, he was 2.5 years old, perfect, beautiful child. I actually have a picture of him here. This is our little Ryker. And that was taken, I think, 3 or 4 weeks right before he passed away. He was perfect. And there was just no reason other than, it was his time, I guess. So that loss of Ryker kind of changed our family in the saddest way, but also in a way to where we started to realize what the true meaning of life really was. And it wasn't about all of the big fancy things, that you work yourself to the bone for, to make other people rich, right? Like, it was more about how are we honoring him. Every day I had to have a mission to get through that time after losing him. Every day I set a mission. And it ended up evolving into a mission of honoring him by blessing others. So just random acts of kindness, even something as simple as helping somebody carry their groceries, whether or not they ask you. It's just being a good human being. And for us, that was our way, that was our mission, right? Like, to honor Ryker. He was just so much life and light and beauty. And, it just kind of caught on. And we had a lot of friends and family who rallied around us. And we started the Honoring Ryker movement. And we created these little cards. And it says, this act of kindness is done with love to honor sweet Ryker in heaven above. Do something good for someone in need. There is love and joy in every selfless deed. Pay it forward. Do what you can. We miss him more than you can understand. And we created a Facebook page. And it just kind of, took off. But a part of that was changing the way that I did business, the way that I handled situations and other people and companies. I started to really start valuing their success more than I ever had before, because it was a way to honor Ryker. And, like I've said multiple times, Joe, when I met you and I learned about Ideal, it was just like that tug at my heart a little bit, where I kind of knew that was the direction I needed to go, because I hadn't been able to do that. When you work for big corporate America, the small guys don't matter. And I didn't want to be that person anymore. And so that's really, a little bit about our story, and about Ryker, and kind of how that one devastating day changed the trajectory of our whole world. But it's led me to where I am right now. And every day I get to honor him, and I get to talk about him. And, our clients and our partners, they know about Ryker. So some of them even do acts of kindness in his name and honor. And that's just really, the long version, I guess, but short at the same time, about, our little family. So.
Yeah. Well, Tara, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
You can see yourself light up when you talk about him, and yeah, beautiful little boy, and still a huge part of your family. And now you're making him a part of other families and other areas of the world, which is incredible. I've had the honor of, you've done things for us to bless us from Ryker, and it does put everything into perspective, and shows us that there's more out there than simply the go pace of everyday life, right? It's about real people, and your family and through Ryker does that every day. So that's amazing. And the love that he is still spreading out there is incredible to see. So thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me tell it.
You've been able to, you mentioned as far as aligning with Ideal and your values in particular with things like what Ryker brings. And that led you, our last guest on the podcast was Jenny Alford with Davis Design Company.
Mm-hmm.
And so that actually led you to connect with her. Why don't you tell that story? And we touched on it a little bit in her episode where she's doing some goodwill and things like that out there, but why don't you tell us a little bit about that connection and what that has meant to you and Ryker's honor?
Yeah. So, I had never heard of Jenny. She's in another state, and my cousin actually was sharing, I guess, our story. And Jenny is a mom, and as a fellow mom, when you hear those things, you just kind of doesn't matter, if you've been down the same path or you're totally different realms of the world, like it pulls you together. And my cousin reached out and said, hey, there's this gal, she does clothing. In October is, pregnancy, infant, and child loss month. And so she wanted to do something special, and she heard about our honoring Ryker and how we bless all of these people and different charities. And I'm an SUDC Foundation ambassador. So my whole mission is to educate people on this. And so she reached out, and she showed me this design, and she said, I'd like to sell these and give part of the proceeds to your honoring Ryker. And we're like,
that's somebody you've never met her before then,
never
right?
met. Yeah. Never had a conversation. And so, it just kind of within a matter of a couple of days, we were up and going and live, and shared it out on our honoring Ryker site and in our personal social media. And she did the same. And, there was quite a few people who jumped on, and in the back of the shirts have the honoring Ryker on the back with his birth date and then his death date. And it really was just a tribute, these people who had never even heard of us, or they didn't know if we were good people or bad people or what happened to Ryker. They didn't care. It was just that jumping in and saying, oh my gosh, tell me about this kid, and he's spread all over now. And as of last week, I think we were almost to $200, I think. that, we donated 100 to the Sudsey Foundation for some research, and we're blessing a local family here who has some needs that I came across on a random whim. Somebody kind of reached out and said, hey, did you see this post? And so that family is going to be blessed by Ryker, but because of Jenny, who, again, that's the power of Ryker. But so it was just kind of amazing. And when she started talking about her company, I was like, we have to have you on Ideal's podcast, because your story is incredible and what you're doing to someone you don't know. And you're raising awareness about something you don't personally, have gone through, I guess, in the same way. Like, it was so moving and such an honor for us.
Yeah. And that's the power of just life experience, number one. And then the power of having a small business, right? And supporting local business. We preach that, we talk that all the time on the show and in our business and everything we do. But those are ways that businesses impact lives directly. And, through Ryker's events and then through Jenny's events that led her to her business, and those have now merged in blessing others beyond anything that ever would have happened before. Now you're touching the lives of other families. Yeah. Those families can impact other families, and you're spreading Ryker's message. And, that whole snowball effect, that whole compound effect of, kindness brings kindness and goodness through all of that, through, obviously a horrific event for any family. And you've really turned that into something that is incredible with all. And then again, connecting with Jenny, randomly. I don't believe anything's random in the world, and it all happens for a reason. But you two came together, and that's the power of business and what we can do, and why we support it every day, which is really amazing. What's your future with the Ryker Foundation, Tara, and what you want to do with that? Do you have any goals and visions with where you want to take that Honoring Ryker movement and into the future?
Yeah, I mean, we've thought about becoming a nonprofit. I just always worry when you turn into a nonprofit, if I would lose my focus on what we started it for and what it was really about, and would we have to go jump through hoops if I just wanted to bless someone. And so, really our goal is to spread awareness about SUDC. Bless as many people as we can. In February, right before COVID hit, we had a huge virtual baby shower for the Lydia House at Open Door Mission. And I just kind of put it out there and I said, hey, if anybody wants to contribute, I'm hosting this for them. And we had people from all over the country who I had never spoken with or heard of, but they saw the post, donate, and we were able to give them like 250 pounds of new baby items that they so needed. So those are the things, like, no matter how busy life gets, no matter how stressful things are, my main goal is to raise Parker and Tinsley to always be that way and to honor their brother and, just do good. And even when it's not, it's not for your benefit. That's the biggest thing I take away from every meeting I have. Sometimes it's so easy to go in with, self-motivated agenda, right? But for us, it's just always like, what can I do for you? And that's where I see the Honoring Ryker movement continuing to just change the world and add the kindness and the light that we so desperately need right now. And, who knows, maybe one day we'll get to bless somebody really, really big. I would love to be able to buy a car for a family who doesn't have a car, or, pay off a mortgage. Got to get mine paid off first, but we'll get there, So right. Those are plans. And that's about it, I guess.
No, that's great. I think a couple things to pull from that is whatever anybody's goals are out there, whether it's through a nonprofit or if it's through a business or whatever it is, you don't have to be the next Bill Gates. You don't have to create the next Apple. You don't have to do that to make an impact, right? You can make an impact with a small business of 3 people. You can make an impact with a movement of your family, blessing individual families. And you don't have to be this big nonprofit, So I think that's really
Right.
valuable for anybody watching in any capacity, whether if they run a business or if they are simply wanting to do good works. Those little things, those
Hmm.
one-to-one moments that you're sharing with people through Ryker make a huge impact. And again, we don't know, it's the
Yeah.
butterfly effect, right? We don't know the compound effect of who that impacts down the road. So that's amazing to see. And Tara, it's just great to see that you bring that, you live this every day with your values and your mission. And whether you're doing the Honoring Ryker movement or if you're talking to one of our clients or prospective clients, you live this every
Hmm.
day, and you mean it, and it's genuine, and
Yeah.
you can tell everything about you that way. So thanks for doing that. Any parting words as we wrap up, or anything else you want to share?
I'll just tell you something that made me really love what we do at Ideal more than anything was, after we lost Riker, you could walk into an Applebee's or, a JC Penney and say, hey, would you be interested in donating some of your proceeds to help do this? And, these people who have all of this money are like, but it was the small business owners and the community that was like, you know what? I don't have a lot, but what I have is yours. And so it started to click with me, like how important that was and why, and it just, again, further aligned me with Ideal and what we do. We really truly do work with like the best individuals that humanity has out there in my personal belief. And so kudos to all the small and mid-sized locally owned companies. You guys really are what keeps us going, for the Honoring Ryker movement and in general. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and I don't feel like, they get enough credit for what they do.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it's those mom and pop, it's the the Main Street, the brick and mortar stuff that keeps us going. Our economy creates jobs, it creates impact. Like you said, you could walk into one of those places and talk to the owner versus a call center somewhere, and that
Yep.
makes a huge impact in everything we do in our lives. So Tara, thank you for sharing your story. It's a powerful one. I hope everybody listening out there really absorbs that and lets that sink in, because we can do good things in life whenever you want. You didn't wait around to form that nonprofit. You just started doing great things, which is awesome. So, kudos to you and your family and everything you do. And thanks again for sharing your story.
Thank you for letting me have this platform to do that. I appreciate it, Joe.
Tara, thank you so much for sharing your story, blessing everybody through Ryker, an amazing young boy, and you're an amazing person and family with everything you guys do. And your message just rings true for all of us, that we can make a difference. And no matter if we're doing something small or if we have bigger goals, whatever that would be, we can make a difference in the lives of others. And again, your genuine love and message for everybody out there is so apparent. So thank you for sharing that in these times of chaos and just unknown and everything that happens, from online to offline, and people just division. That's really the word I was looking for. The division that is out there in the world today. A story like yours really brings us together and lets us see what is truly important in our lives, whether it's business or personal life. And let's be honest, those things intermingle. Those things really come together in each of us that live. So thank you for sharing your story. If you want to know more about Ideal or Tara or anything else that she's doing, reach out to her. You can go to the Ideal Payroll Service website and find ways to reach out to her. So Tara, thanks again for sharing your story. Thank you to you, the listener. We appreciate you being here as always. Let's go out, support local, and let's support each other.